Hi Flosstube. It has been a hot minute. My name is Leslie and you are at A Nurse and Her Needle. And if you are new here, welcome. So happy to have you. This is Flosstube number 5. So certainly haven't been doing that this long, but have really been enjoying the process of sharing all my stitching with you guys. So a little bit about me if you are new. I live in Wisconsin, about smack dab in the middle of the state. And I've been stitching, I learned when I was a little girl, probably about 9 years old, my mom taught me and brought me to a class and kind of got away from it for a number of years. And then over COVID, like many people, got back into it because there wasn't a whole lot else for us to do. And so picked up stitching again and have found a whole new world that I certainly was not available to me when I was 9 years old. I am a nurse and a pastor's wife, and I have 3 bulldogs, love them. Sometimes you'll see a picture of them that shows up. So I'm happy to have you here. You are always welcome, and I would love it if you would leave a comment, subscribe, tell me what you're stitching on, maybe what you're excited to stitch on as we come into fall and then eventually into Christmas. But yeah, I've got a ton to share with you. It's been about a month, almost a month since my last video. There was a ton going on. We were just super busy, all good things, but just very busy, and just got back from vacation last week. And so trying to reset from all of that, which is always fun. So we went out to Montana, so out to Glacier National Park, and actually had the opportunity to marry 2 friends of ours, people that go to our church. And so we went out to a ranch out there Monday and Tuesday for the wedding. And not this past week, it was the week before. And then we spent the rest of the time in Glacier, spent it in Columbia Falls, and went into the park as much as we could. So lots of hiking. As somebody who comes from Wisconsin, you think you've seen a mountain, and where I live, we have Rib Mountain, or we have I don't know, I guess Tim's Hill is the highest location in Wisconsin. That's near my hometown. But I've never seen a true mountain, clearly, after I learned that this past month. So it was beautiful. The hiking was lovely, hard at times, but completely worth it. I threw some photos in the beginning video just to give you a glimpse of kind of what we were doing. So we had some weddings that kind of popped up last minute to help with. Trying to think, lots of canning. So finishing that up for the season. We just finished up the last thing, which is spaghetti sauce, and we did that yesterday, and we're able to can about 35 quarts of spaghetti sauce. So my house still kind of smells like an Italian grandma house, or what I imagine an Italian grandmother's house smells like on a Sunday afternoon. But we got all of it canned and have been able to just kind of rest today. It's beautiful here. It's actually going to be very warm tomorrow. I think it's going to be like 80, but you guys can see the window over by me. The sun is definitely coming in. I'd turn it, but yeah, definitely getting some good light in here today. So hopefully colors show up well and nothing washes out too badly. But that's kind of what we've been up to. Just busy, and I apologize. We came home from vacation and we both kind of got a little minor head cold kind of thing. Nothing too crazy, but if you see me drinking a lot, or if I get a frog in my throat or I'm sniffly, I apologize. That's why. All right. So I do have some whips. I think, let me look here. 1, 2, 3 whips, but I'm counting 3 more because I had a little case of startitis and I'll explain. Some of this was planned and some of it was not. So I'm just going to get right into it. I've got a little bit of haul, and then talking about some plans, some things that are coming up that I'm super excited about. And yeah, but your sponsor of today's Flosstube is my new Marmot shirt. We were fortunate enough, we went on the Hidden Lake Trail in Glacier, and we were fortunate enough to see some marmots, which are basically, I think they're the largest squirrel. I think I looked it up. I think they're the largest squirrel. And they were just sunning themselves like belly up on a rock. So in my next life, I'm thinking about coming back as a marmot. So anyways, let's get into the stitching. Okay. So let's see. So the first one, you guys have seen this, but I've been putting in some work on it, which I'm super happy about, is Plum Street Samplers, A Shepherd's Song. So you guys have seen that. I know there's a few people stitching this. I know Jordan, the tattooed stitcher, she is doing this, but she has a conversion. I believe everything's the same except all of her flowers, I think, are converted to blues. And then I think she might have converted the hair color on the girl. But she's got way more done than I do. So, or she has different parts done, I would say. So check her out if you want to see her conversion. It's pretty cool. I'm doing this with all of the called fors, which is mostly overdyeds, and I think maybe like 2 DMC. Oh, and I forgot my clips. That's okay. I still got my board. Okay. So my goal was, I finished page 1, I think, when I started Flosstube. And my goal was truly to get through page 2, which, did I get through page 2? If I did, I got close and was on to page 3. I don't remember what page I'm on. It's 2 or 3. That's what I can tell you. I should grab a quick clip. One sec. Okay, this will make it a lot easier today. All right, so I am stitching this, like I said, with the called for overdyeds and those few DMC, and this is being stitched on the called for 36 count Hogbristle by Fox and Rabbit. I really loved the fabric. I love the way it was looking on all the videos of other people stitching it that I had seen, and so I didn't want to mess with it. But this is where I'm at. Washing out a little there. That's more true to color. Okay. So I had all this done before. I finished out the phrase. So the phrase is complete. I had this half of the roof done. And then I think I might have finished out all of this. So I got this side of the house framed, all the windows and the windows filled in, which that color, that yellow, I'll have to look what it is. It is one of my new favorites. It's so beautifully variegated. I don't know if you can see. It's washing out a little bit, but it's beautiful. And then I started coming over on the second part of the roof. So this is where I'm at. I'm hoping by the end of October to finish the roof and finish the rest of the outline of the house. That's my goal. That roof is no joke. It is like 4 colors and they alternate, but they don't alternate in a super consistent pattern. So you can't really be like, oh, I just have to do this and I can just follow the pattern. No. It doesn't really follow that. I guess there is kind of a pattern, but you pretty much have to take it row by row. This yellow color that's in the windows is Weeks Dye Works, which isn't one of my favorite floss dyers. I sometimes have struggle with their threads tangling on me, but I love the colors that they create. I love the dye lots. But this is Weeks Dye Works Gold. And you can just see it's super variegated. It's lovely for those windows. It reminds me that somebody has, a couple lamps on in different rooms and they all give kind of different hues. So that is my goal for this one, is finish here, bring the roof over, and then finish the rest of this. Once I got this counted, once I knew where the first window was, it was super easy to just go. and just complete them. So, and then my hope for end of October, the reason why is because I am going on, I have a cross stitch retreat the end of October through the Stitching Bee. It's a shop in Green Bay, Wisconsin. It's my, I guess it's my mom's LNS. That's where she has a stitching group that she meets there, and they have a meetup once a month, I know, which is really cool. I wish I lived closer to do it, but they are hosting a retreat in Wapaka, and I go every year, and so it is one of my favorite weekends of the year, and so I would love to finish the outline by then, so that way at the retreat I can just mindlessly fill in. I think the fill-in on that is, it's either black coffee or carriage black. Let me look. Black coffee, which I had to laugh because I was catching up with some Flosstube and I was watching, I think it's black coffee and grits, or is it just coffee and grits? Oh, I can't remember her first name, but I was catching up with her stitching and she was talking about how she ran out of black coffee and she ended up buying like 10 skeins of it. So I double checked because I wanted to know how many I needed on this, and I looked at the little thing, it's 2 skeins, and I have 2 skeins, so I think I'm okay. But I could see how frustrating that would be to get like almost done with your pattern and just run out of that color. So I'm hoping I have enough to maybe get all the fill-in done at the retreat, though there's always a lot of talking at retreats. Sometimes we don't get a lot of stitching done. We try. Okay, so I gotta kind of go out of order the way I have these on my paper here, because a couple of these whips are actually new starts. And so I'm gonna kind of save those, and we'll put those in the start pile. I'll go with the actual true whips first. Okay. Which sadly there's only 3 out of all these. It's fine, it's fine. We do what brings us joy, you know? And we just go with it, and it's okay. It's okay. All right. The next thing that I worked on, let me see. Oh, I didn't unzip that bag. My apologies. The next one I worked on, this is going to be my smalls exchange for the retreat, and I really need to get this finished. I have like a month. I have less than a month to finish this and fully finish it. I think it'll be fine. The last little bits that I have aren't anything that requires like a ton of counting. Like, it looks like it's pretty repetitive. So that should help me out. Maybe I can work on it on my lunch break. So this is Patriotic Matilda. You can see that okay there. A little fuzzy, but. And this is by, Finally a Farm Girl, off of Etsy. And I am stitching this on 40 count Dusk by Fiber on a Whim, and using all of the called for DMC, except I substituted, it was supposed to be DMC 4 for the mouse, and I substituted in 535. I just didn't like the way that the number 4 was I don't know, I felt like it didn't stand out like I wanted it to on this fabric. So I just made it a little bit darker. So this is where I'm at. So I've gotten a little bit of work done on her. I have a little bottom part here of the spool that she's sitting on to do, but I got her shoes finished, and then started on, this is like a pin cushion. So I've got all the green, that'll fill in with like a pink. I got the little mouse done. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. I might have brought down some of her dress too that I might not have had finished. It's looking much more gray fabric. I would say it's much more blue than gray. It's kind of, yeah. It's not really like the best color of it, unfortunately. That's maybe a little bit better. So I haven't decided how I'm going to finish this for the smalls exchange. I could just frame it. I know I've got some really cute little frames, but I also thought I could finish it into like a little pillow and for somebody's dough bowl. That's what I did last year, I think, with my smalls exchange. But the way that they have it on the photo, I have this circle, I'm like, maybe I could find like a little, like, I don't know, like a little jewelry box, little tin thing that I could do. But I might be being way overly ambitious. And yeah, I might not have time for that. I also realized like her eyebrows that I did, you have to see these. She looks very concerned. I feel like it's pretty accurate to how I would be stitching an American flag. This is meant to be like, oh gosh, I'm bad at this. What's her name? Oh, my high school history teachers are probably like rolling right now. I did have it right. Betsy Ross. Okay. I thought, I don't want to say it and be wrong. Okay, so she's meant to be portraying Betsy Ross. And honestly, like, I feel like if I was stitching an American flag, I feel like I would have concerned eyebrows. So I'm leaving them. And I think she's adorable. So I'm hoping I really would like to get this finished. So that way I have some time to ponder what I want to do for finishing, because I don't know. I'd like to do something really cute. It's a 4th of July theme. So I'm trying to think like, how would you decorate your house? Like, what are you going to, how are you going to bring it out? And I'm like, a lot of people do dough balls. So I think the pillow is probably the way to go. I've got some cool trim that I could use. I'm thinking that's the way I'll go. Just because I don't know how many people put out like a framed thing for 4th of July. Maybe they do. I don't. I hardly decorate for 4th of July, so this was a challenge for me. But next year is the 250th anniversary. So maybe I will decorate something. You never know. Stranger things have happened. All right. Next whip that I worked on was my snowy season cardigan. You guys have been following this one for a little while now. Let me just bring it up here on my iPad. So this pattern is by MJ's Off the Hook. You can find her on Etsy. Let's see if we can find it. There it is. Okay. And the pattern actually comes, which is awesome. It comes with a long and a short version. So, ooh, I want to get that. That's the long version. And I am doing the short version. I'm going to zoom in a little bit here. So that is the one that I'm doing. I am using the called for yarn, which is Cake Pop Speckled by Brava. And the reason why I wanted to do that is because like the tan and olive green are my favorite colors to wear, and gray. This is completely different from anything I would ever wear, and it's bright and it's fun. And so I felt like I needed to do it just because it's so different. So last time I know I shared that I had the 1/2 done. So just the panels all ready to go. And then I started on the second one, and this is where I'm at for this sleeve. So I'll unfold it here. So there's my sleeve. And I didn't get off on my stitch count. It measures up the same, but I have it recorded. I don't know. I must have forgot to like write down a row when I was doing it, because it doesn't, yeah. So I'm looking at it now, and I'm kind of just, I want to just compare with what I have and kind of lining up my rows and counting them. And so now I'm ready to go. Basically, I'll chain out from here, chain out from here, and then you work each side with like a slit in the middle, which is where this comes in. So that'll be for the neck. So that's kind of where I'm at. I think tonight I will probably count out, or at least chain out those, because then it's ready and it's easy to work on when I have just a minute of time and it's all set and ready to go. I would love to finish that by Thanksgiving. I'd love to wear it to Thanksgiving because it's so fun, but we'll see what happens. So again, that's Snowy Season Cardigan, and that is by MJ's Off the Hook. She just came out with some new patterns, I think. I haven't looked at them. I've just been getting notifications from Etsy that she came out with some new stuff, so you should check her out. All right. So those are all my true whips. The next ones are truly starts, but they are also whips because I feel like I got, other than maybe one, I feel like I got a good amount of work done on them. So the first one I have for you is, I was in the mood, so it was getting kind of chilly, and I was like, I really want to stitch something Halloween, but like I told you, I had a case of start-itis, and I didn't want to stitch something I already had started. So I had this one kitted up for a while. I talked about it for a little bit, that I was planning on starting it, so it truly was a planned start. I just didn't know when. So this is Sleepy Hollow by Hello from Liz Matthews. Super fun. And I'm stitching this on 36 count pumpkin vines by Mystic Fabrics, and I'm using all the called for DMC. And this is where we're at. Now, I could have taken that border and just gone with it because it's a super easy one to do. Just taken one of the colors, probably the black, and gone all the way down and gone over. But I got nervous because I've seen so many people lately having border issues, and I just got nervous. And so I'm just taking the border as it comes. And I'll do a little bit of the border, and then, so like I did some of this border, and then I started him, and then I brought this border down here, and then I went and did the star, and then I wanted to do these, and now I'll probably bring the border down again. Again, just, I know I can count it all. I'm just nervous that it's not lining up. And right now, it's exactly lined up where it needs to be. So that makes me happy. And then these are the flosses for this. So just super fun. They all really just pop off of this. Not even getting it good. This is not doing it justice, folks. But it's beautiful. I apologize for the barking dogs. Everybody is walking today because it's gorgeous here. And my one dog, Trudy, thinks it is her responsibility to notify everybody that this is her house. So that's where we're at. So that is Sleepy Hollow. I'm hoping to get a little bit more work. I think I'm going to bring that one to the retreat because it's pretty easy to follow. The fabric's easy to see. It's not anything I need like a magnifier for really or anything like that. And it's just kind of seasonal. The retreat is like the end of October, so it just seems to fit. All right, the next one I have is also a new start. This was one again that I had planned. This was my back to school start, and I don't think it's really going to be as big as I think it is. What is it? Oh, okay, maybe it is. It's 211 by 149. So she's still big. It's fine. But this is one I had planned. I've had kitted up for a while, and I was super excited to get going on this. The floss is a little bit of a mess because I've been working on it, so I have, random pieces. But the cool thing is this only calls for 8 different colors. I do need to get another skein of Carriage Black because I'm supposed to have 2, and I only have 1. So that was my bad. So this is Honey Hill Hamlet, a simple sampler, and this is by Artful Offerings. So back to school being big bleep project. I love the bees. I've got a bee thing. And the houses, I thought that they were like, so I looked at the pattern closer. I thought that they were striped with another color, but they're not, which is kind of nice. It's actually just the fabric coming through. So it's not a full, the house isn't like fully stitched. So that's kind of nice. What I didn't realize, side note, well, I did, but I guess I didn't pay attention. So on A Shepherd's Song, at the bottom, there's all those sheep, and there's the grass, and you see it. But on the pattern, there's nothing filled in for like a symbol or anything for the grass, which makes sense because I could see how that would be really hard to read if it was all fill in and you just have it the whole thing flooded with symbols, right? Yeah, that's all one color. So I have a feeling that piece is going to be like, okay, you're going to do the house and you're going to fill it in, mindless stitching. And then you're going to do a bunch more and you're going to do the sheep and then you're going to do mindless stitching to fill in the grass. So, okay, back to Hill Hamlet. So this is from Artful Offerings again. I'm stitching this on 36 count Willow by Bestitch Me. I feel like 36 count is kind of my sweet spot. I don't need a magnifier or anything like that for it. 40 count I also like. I just don't have as much of it in my stash. So I'm buying it as, I start things or whatever. And this is using the called for overdyed. So these are the floss. Again, just a few, but they're just beautiful. I'm gonna hold them up. I just got a very simple start on this. It's looking a lot darker than it is. There, it's a little bit better. So just got a little start on a couple of those flowers, a little bit of the border. That's where I'm at. It's very nice to stitch. This fabric is lovely to stitch on. Bestitch Me fabrics are just lovely to stitch on in general. I was a part of their Fabric of the Month club for last year, for the whole year. And so I have a nice little egg nest of fabric from them, which is great. So I can just kind of pick up things that, work. And now I'm getting some more 40 count from Fiber on a Whim. So kind of diversifying. I've learned that I don't love stitching with toothed strands. I'll do it, but I don't love it. All right, so that is Hill Hamlet by Artful Offerings. Okay. All right, so backstory for this next one. So many of you are familiar with, let me take a drink here first. Many of you are familiar and have participated in Manning May, right? So that's where you work on a Carolyn Manning piece for the month of May. Now her pieces they're gorgeous. Would I call them maybe like very like geometrical, I guess, in a way. They're probably as close to full coverage as I will ever get to stitching because I'm not a full coverage stitcher. It's not something I've ever been drawn to. So this is probably as close as I'll ever get. So I'd always wanted to do one of her pieces. I have actually a Christmas tree, this Carolyn Manning Christmas tree that's really cool, that I've thought about starting this year, but I don't really have like any of her like traditional ones where it's more like a stained glass almost looking, or she has some mandalas, she has things like that. So I was at my LNS, I was actually buying a gift for my mom, and I was just looking around because obviously you have to do that. And I found this piece. So it is called Citrus Glass. And I found it and I loved it because of the colors. One, the design's awesome. Each of those squares, it's not repeating, it's a little bit different. So one, I loved the design, but two, the colors. They felt very fall, and this wasn't something that I'd necessarily want to stitch on linen. I feel like I would struggle with it a little bit, and I had a piece of 20 count Aida that I had picked up when I was at the Be Beautiful Sip and Stitchery retreat this last May. And I had picked up a piece of 20 count Afforgato by Fiber on a Whim, and I was just waiting for the right thing to work on this piece, or to start on this piece. And this seemed absolutely perfect. So before I show you my start on this, can we just have a moment of appreciation for these? Gorgeous colors. It is completely 100%. This is autumn. This is autumn in floss drops. So super excited about that. When I picked up the colors, I was like, yep, we're gonna do this. So I started this, and my intent was actually to work on Shepherd's Song on the way to Montana and back. But because of how putsy that roof is, and it requires a million and different colors, it was not happening. I was like, this is not the right piece to be working on. But I had done most of the black outline of the first box. And I was like, well, this is easy because I just have to fill. So I got a little farther than I actually thought. So again, this is citrus glass on 20 count Aida by Afforgato Aida by Fiber on a Whim. Words are hard. And that's where I'm at. So there's just enough peeking through of the fabric that, like, yeah, I could have just done like a plain whatever, but I had this piece. I liked a little bit of the modeling because I intend to give it, as you can see, I tend to give it like some good margin when I frame it. And I just like that little bit of modeling that it was bringing. So it is just gorgeous. I'm stitching this 1/1 on 20 count. I do need to bring the border, and I'm just doing the border as I go. Again, border fear. I don't want border trauma. So I'm just working it as I go. But I think I'm gonna probably put this away for a little bit. I got way more done on it than I expected. And I think I will bring this out again in November. That is when I'm going to Hawaii with 2 friends. And I think this would be perfect to stitch on the flight because it's such easy stitching. And the Aida is so, like, I don't know if you can see, like, it's so soft. Other Aida can be like super stiff. It feels like it's been like starched. This stuff is just, it's great. So I think I will probably put this away until Hawaii. And then I will probably bring it back out to stitch on the plane because, like I said, it is such easy stitching. And other than doing like the outline of the little blocks, the rest of it is just fill. Okay, now this next one was not a whip, truly, but I'm counting it as work completed. So if you have been watching kind of my stitching over the last couple of videos, you know that when I did my whip parade, I talked about my Teresa Kogut Folk Art Garden. I love this. I picked it up when I was at Beautiful Sip and Stitchery. This was a 2025 Nashville Market release. And it's gorgeous. I love it. And so I picked it up there and I picked up the floss. And I'm like, you know, I like the black, but I don't love stitching on black, but I love the dark. Maybe I can find something else. And so I found this gorgeous piece. It's going to show up black, but I promise you it's not. Of deep blue. It is called Nevermore by Atomic Ranch. It's a little bit better. You can see that it's more blue. So it's a deep navy blue. It's a 28 count. At least that's what I bought. But it is a tight 28 count. So I had a corner started, and I completely decided to rip it out because I didn't give it enough border. And I was worried that when it came time to frame or to finish, I was going to end up with problems. So this is my progress. I frogged it out and I'm going to restart it eventually. I think I'm only going to do, though I love the coverage and like the puffiness that the 2/2 gives, I'm thinking about doing 1/2 because of how tight the weave is on this linen. But I don't know. What are your thoughts? Those are the colors. called fors. I didn't have tarragon, so I substituted tarragon for collards. I still might just change it out next time I'm there, or next time I'm at my LNS. I don't know. I don't know whether to change the fabric on this and find something that I like that's dark, but just I like the weave better. Because this is definitely tough to stitch on. One, it's a tighter weave, and two, it's dark. So you have to make sure you have something light behind it, or I'll put like, sometimes I'll just take my board and like put it on my lap, and then good lighting. So let me know your thoughts in the comments. 1/2, 2/2, or find a new fabric, because you're crazy, Leslie, because that's really dark. I don't know. I just think it'd be really beautiful. I think it would be gorgeous. So I'd really love to get a different start on that. I'm trying to remember, oh, that's part of the pattern too. So I'm calling that work done. It's a whip. In my brain, it's a whip. Okay. All right. I think that's all of the whips I've had. It doesn't seem like much over the last few weeks, but it has been really busy, and so I'm really happy that I've gotten in the work I've gotten. We've kind of gotten home at night, and I've just been exhausted. Just exhausted. I commute like 2 hours, almost 2 hours a day for work, and I just get home at the end of that drive, and I don't know. It's not that it's that far. It's only like 50 minutes, but I'm tired. So I'm happy that I've gotten the stitching that I have gotten in. Okay. So a little bit of haul. So while we were in Montana, like I said, we have the 3 dogs, and they don't love being boarded. We've only boarded Goose when she was like a baby, when she was younger, and she did fine. But Trudy and Bill have never been boarded, and I just don't, they know their house. They have a fenced in yard. If I can just pay somebody for about the same price to come to the house, I will do that. So my mom actually was very kind to offer to come watch the dogs for the week. And so she stayed here. She was able to visit with her sister and sister-in-law who live nearby, and she got some stitching done. And yeah, she said she had a good week, and the dogs were really good for her, so that makes me happy. But just as a thank you, I wanted to get her a little something just to say, you know that we really appreciate everything she did. And shameless little plug, if you want to see some of my mom's stitching, I posted it on my Instagram. She started, what was it called? I can't remember the name of the pattern she started. It's beautiful. I know the fabric she's stitching it on is called for Primitive Hair, by the Primitive Hair. I can't remember the name of the fabric. But if you check out my Instagram, I've got a photo up of where she's at with that project, and it's beautiful. It's so fun, and it's so different from more of the like primitive stuff that she usually stitches. So it's really cool. But as a thank you, I got her, and I'm going to put a little picture up in the corner here. I picked up Harvest Magic by the Blue Flower, and then picked her up a piece of 40 count Afforgato to stitch that on. And I picked up all the called fors, but I could not find Weeks Dye Works Salt Glaze, which if you're kind of looking at the photo, Salt Glaze is the cauldron. So it's a very variegated blue to like tan almost, and there's not anything that's close to it. So what I did is I just pulled like all the blues at my LNS and was just pulling colors to try and find something. And I ended up subbing, I think it's called Cleveland Blue. I don't remember who it's by because she has it with her now, but I thought it was a pretty good substitute. I told her if she doesn't like it, she should look for a skein of salt glaze. So I think that'll be one thing that I'll pick up, because I've seen a couple patterns call for salt glaze, and apparently there's not really a substitute. So if I see it, I will be buying some. In addition to Seaweed by Weeks Dye Works, which is a limited edition that the Blue Flower also uses in some of her patterns. And there's also not a really good substitute for that. So that was one little haul. Citrus Glass, which I already showed you, was another little piece of haul that I started. And then me find my, where is it all? Oh, there it is. Okay. I got my fabric of the month. It was a little late this month, which is totally fine. So I'm probably going to get like another one in like 2 weeks. But this month, I'm part of the Stitchy Box fabric or Fiber on a Whim Collectors Club. And this is 40 count old gold. So pretty. So I got a full fat quarter of that. It's showing up more like green on camera, but it's definitely like a, I don't know, I guess it's somewhere between like it's kind of mustardy. Mustard? Nobody will get that reference. It's fine. There, that's probably more true to color. So that was 40 count old gold. So I'm excited to find a pattern to use with that. I think it's got to be definitely the right one. So I'll just kind of hold on to that for now. And then I can't remember if I showed this last time. I don't remember if I got it recently or if it was the last time, but this is Autumn Sampler. I picked this up while I was shopping. And this is by, I can never say it, Puntini. I think it's an Italian designer. So I'll pick that up. And another one that I have wanted to do that I love. I really haven't seen anybody stitching this one, but it's beautiful. I picked up Rejoice Evermore. Oh, sorry. There you go. And that is by Brenda Gervais from With a Needle and Thread. It's a little bit of an older chart. It's 2022. But I saw that Vicki Clayton had come out with a silk conversion, and she has actually two blues. So she has like one blue that's more like a greenish blue, almost more like a tealy blue, and then one blue that's like more true, like how this shows up on there. And so you can kind of choose which one you want. I'd probably order both because I want to see it in person. But I think when I decide to start this, it won't be for a while. I've got enough big projects, but I want to order the silks for that because I think it would be really beautiful. Like I said, these are more blue on the birds. But I think like the tealy, close up, it looks kind of teal. I think let's see what color they use. Is that the color they use? Let's see. Yeah, so they use Weeks Dye Works, Kentucky Bluegrass. They use Gentle Arts Otter Creek. And what else? I think it might just be primarily those two. Oh, and Classic Colorworks Deep Fennel is another one that's in here as well. But this one has a few specialty stitches. It has some Algerian eyelets, some Smyrna crosses, neither of which I've ever done. And so this would be definitely a very different, and some satin stitches, some petite stitches. Yeah, this one's definitely more of a challenge for me. But I think it could be really cool. I would love to do it on old gold. I think the reds and blues would pop off of that, but I think you'd lose the yellows from the leaves. So anyways, pick that up. And then these two were ones that I found in a like half off bin. I don't remember where. It must have been at the Needlework shop. They have their sticker on it. But I don't remember when I picked them up. I don't think it was this year. But I found them, so I'm calling it haul. So this was, which I learned, thanks to a viewer, that the trilogy is actually a combination of Twisted Threads, Bent Creek, and Heart and Hand. Didn't know that. So this is Winter Lineup. And this is from, does it say? I don't think it says. Maybe. It's an older chart. I can't remember when this is. I don't see when this is from. But, oh, 2006. There it is. So the reason why I wanted to do this is, in addition to loving bulldogs and bees, I also love penguins. One of my, can't see it. It's going to be upside down. One of my tattoos on this side is actually a penguin. And I have another chart that my mom did for me. I forget who it's by, but it's like a bunch of little penguins stacked. It's real long and skinny. And I thought this could be a really cute little companion piece to that to have up in the winter time, because this one isn't truly like Christmas. It's more winter, so I could leave it up. And then the other one I picked up is, this is by, who's this by? Something in Common. It says the P.O. Box is Wausau, Wisconsin. Interesting. Oh, I wonder who, oh yeah, the stitchers from, the designers from Wausau, Wisconsin. I didn't know that. Okay, very cool. That's fun. Barbara Peterson. Cool. So I picked this up, and this is Winter Wonderland. Now, I am not a blue winter decorator. You know how people do like blues and silvers and all of that. I am very traditional. I like my reds and my whites and like golds, and yeah, very traditional with it. So I think I would do a color conversion on this. I'd keep the white, but then I think it could look really pretty doing just like the white and like do the trees in green and then do a bunch of different like reds or like hints of reds. I think it would look really pretty. So I think I would probably do a color conversion on that, just not because the blue isn't beautiful. It is. My mother-in-law would love it. She decorates everything in blue. But just personal preference, I just don't decorate like that. Okay. And then the last one, get a drink here. The last one is by October House Fiber Arts, and it is called All Is Calm. This came out in 2023. And the reason why I wanted to pick up this is because, and you'll actually get to see a little FFO here, even though I didn't just finish it. It's been done since last year, I think. I have finished October Fiberhouse Arts Vintage Christmas Trees. I finished this last fall, I think. And so this I thought would be a cute little companion to have with it. I started stitching this, and I was originally gonna do it for like a smalls exchange, and I was like, this is not a small. So I kept it for myself and did something else, but I feel like these together would look really cute. So that's why I got that one. And I think it would stitch up pretty quickly. The Merry Christmas actually stitched up very quickly. I loved stitching that. I would like to get the same fabric though. So it's kind of this, it actually shows up pretty good on camera. It's that real light green. I think I would like to do the same thing or similar. And I got this at my L&S. So my guess, I think it must be a Witchell. It feels like it's stiffer. I bet I could probably bring this in and they would know. And I think this is this 2? No, I think this must be 1/2. Yeah, I think this is 1/2. So I'm guessing it's probably a 36 or maybe a 32 count. I'm not sure. Okay. So that is some of the haul that I had. Last thing, and this just came to me today. So I was talking with somebody at our Bible study on Wednesday, and I showed up early because I come that way through work. So I didn't want to go all the way back home and then come all the way back to the church. So I just stopped at the church and ate my dinner there and then stitched for a little bit. And there was a lady there, her name's Lynette. And Lynette and I were talking, and she was asking, if I did any needlework or what types of crafts I did. And so we got to talking, and she's like, I think I have something for you I want to show you. And she brought it today to church, and she said I could keep it. And guys, this is so cool. I actually think I might figure out how to frame this really neat and just have it up in my craft room. So this is illustrated needlework from spring and summer 1922. It was designed and published by Women's World of Chicago. How neat is this? So there's a whole table of contents. There's alphabets, aprons, bags, belts, collars, cuffs, dresses, blouses. Like, there's so many things on here. And you open this up, and okay, so one of the things talked about doing, it was a cross-stitch alphabet. I don't want to fold this too much because it's an old piece of paper. It's an old paper. But, like, isn't that neat? I thought maybe even just framing just this one would be really cool. It has like the whole alphabet. There's so many fun things in here. It's just really neat to look through, obviously very carefully. But I don't know if she said it was her mom or her aunts that had it. But yeah, 1922. And some of these like titles are great, like How to Curtain Your Home, Consider the Lampshade, Refinishing Old Friends, 3 applique designs for your bedroom. Like it's great. And then there's an embroidery primer, which this I think is amazing. Okay. So this has like all these stitches in it, like embroidery stitches. Come on, isn't that cool? Talks about petite point, how to do that. And then it has a picture of a piece that must have been done, which 1922 to print in color, it's pretty impressive. Must have been quite. Oh, there's tatting designs. I know some people on here watching are probably do tatting. Oh, one on how to do your own tatting to make lingerie for the bride. It's just fascinating. It's just really cool. So I'm calling this haul, but it's really neat and I want to do something with it. So it's like up in my room. So, all right. So I think that's everything for haul. A couple of plans. So you guys have seen, I don't have it up with me right now. No, it's in a bag. You have seen the Kathy Barrick birth sampler that I've been working on. My friend Anna, she watches my Flosstube, so she knows about it. She's seen it. I need to finish it. I've got basically the whole top part done. I need to finish the bird, which is basically the whole bottom part. And then I just need to wait so I can put in name and birth date and all that stuff. So I don't have to have it done by the time she has the baby, but I don't want to have it where it's like she's 6 months old and I'm finally giving it to them. So I need to work on that. I need to finish my smalls exchange. That has to get done. And then I had been talking to my friend Bridget and we were talking about like a retreat start. Like, should we do something fun for a retreat start? And we hadn't really decided anything. You know, we just kind of threw around the idea. So I'm going to kind of throw around a couple options. Now, if you are a monogamous stitcher and you are thinking, Leslie, you have enough starts, you should work on something you have. I respect your opinion, but I gracefully decline. So, if you are a monogamous stitcher, good for you. I am not. I love the process. I love to stitch what I like, what feels good, and sometimes that's a new start. So, I have a couple things that I would like, that I'm thinking about starting for my retreat start. I would love your opinion on any of these. And if you're like, none of these, Leslie, you should stitch this. This just came out. I think it's right up your alley. Comment that too. I got some time. Okay, first one is When Pumpkins Glow. And this is from With Thy Needle and Thread. My mom actually finished this. She did it on the called for, which I think is, 40 count Legionnaire Latte by R&R. It's beautiful. She needs to fully finish it. Mom, you need to fully finish it because it's gorgeous. And she bought this, the whole thing from Chantel's 141. She picked it up. So she needs to finish it because it's so stinking cute. So that's an option. I have a good amount of it, like the colors kitted up, and I have a piece of 40 count Maritime White that my mom bought. How much did she buy? Did she buy a full yard? half yard. She bought a lot and she's like, here, you can have half of it. So I have a good piece of it. Another option that I have pretty much all kitted up is Hickety Pickety. So cute with that little witch and her pumpkins and the chicken and all the little chickens. Stop. That is from With Thy Needle and Thread. The flosses, let me just pull these out. Guys, they're so pretty. I started pulling the floss for these when I got the fabric, and I was like, and I don't think these are all of them, but they're almost all of them. Look it. It's, oh, the floss is beautiful for this project. Just like, I love it. So that is an option I've been toying with for a retreat start. Last year's retreat start, in case you're wondering, was, and I started that with my friend Bridget, was Night Walk Down by the Blue Flower. I shared it in my mid-year whip parade, but I stitched mine on 40 Count Cocoa by Fiber on a Whim using the called for overdyes. And Bridget did, I don't know what fabric she used, but she pulled, did she pull the 103s? No, she did it with Sulky. She did a Sulky conversion. And I haven't seen it yet. I don't know how far she got. I want to see it. And then the retreat start before that was Quaker Pumpkins by Liz Matthews, which is still in timeout because I can't decide on my colors. Okay, another option, Enchanted Quaker by Luminous Fiber Arts. I have some really cool fabric that this would look on. I think it's Honey by Bestitch Me. It's a lighter orange. Or what's the other one? It's by Jackson Fiber Arts or Jackson Fibers on Etsy. I don't remember the name of it, but it's a darker orange. It could be really cool. This I gave to my mom a copy of this as well. I had made shirts for us last year, 2 years ago. I don't remember. And I put together a little gift bag and this was in it. This fall trio. And that's by Puntini Puntini. And I thought like just the little mushroom bowl. I feel like that little mushroom bowl needs to go next to the Autumn is Here by Fairy something in the wood. I can't remember. I haven't worked on that one this last month, but that should be like a companion to that. I also thought about Autumn Night Garden by Tiny Modernist. I have a piece of fabric that would look great for this, but I don't think it's going to be conducive to want to stitch at a retreat. It's dark like this. So, and then I also have this kitted up, which I have not started. And that is, sorry, it's in the plastic, Good Intentions by Kathy Barrick. So if you haven't seen this one, lots of people have done this. People have done conversions. It says, I myself am made entirely of flaws stitched together with good intentions. I love it. She does it in NPIs. I pulled just the called for DMCs. So those are just a couple ideas that I thought for a retreat start, but I haven't really looked at like all the patterns that were recently released. I mean, I have a couple that I'm like, oh, that's neat, but nothing, I didn't purchase anything. I was very good. And so I do need to, I kind of want to pick something and have it ready in case I need to buy a few flosses for it. One other thing that I'm still figuring out, and I'm curious as to your thoughts. So I'm going to go back to one of my whips because I forgot to mention this. So Shepherd's Song. On the pattern, you can see there is that black and white dog. Okay. Black and white dog sits right there. About right there. Okay. I thought about doing a conversion so it's more like one of my dogs. And I'm debating whether I do, because she's kind of like a ruddy, like reddish brown. She's that fawn color, I guess I would say. So I'm debating whether or not I do, I don't have my board, whether I do like a fawn and white, because those are her colors on that dog, or my other dog, that's one of the bigger ones, is brindle and white. And I thought about finding like a heavily variegated brown and white and doing it there. She's the older one. So just wondering what you think would look better in terms of like that fawn brown, or to do like a deeper variegated brown with white. I do intend on converting that. I just don't know what I want to do yet. So, all right. Well, I think that's it. So those are kind of my plans. I'm excited for the retreat coming up in October, and then followed by Hawaii. And then my mom and I just both signed up for the May retreat at Beautiful Sip and Stitchery. They are located in Roscoe, Illinois. The retreat is going to be held in Beloit. I don't know if there's still room, but if there is, you should go on the website and check it out. Brett is wonderful. She is so sweet. Her husband, Chris, is so nice. They're so knowledgeable, and their shop is amazing. So this retreat does not have a designer, or the last one we went to had Lois from Lady Dot Creates, and it was more of like a finishing class, which was great. But this one is just solely, we're going to spend the weekend stitching, which is what I love. So, and they're going to have a special pattern, I think, for that retreat as well. So if you're interested and there's still room, check it out. But I'm excited. My mom and I are going to go to that. That'll be the first weekend in May. And other than that, yeah, just life is going to continue to life. And hopefully I will be back here in, I'm hoping like 2 weeks, kind of get back onto that 2-week time frame, and can share some updates with you then. So leave a comment, subscribe, follow me on Instagram just to keep up with stitching over the next couple weeks. And I hope that you are enjoying fall wherever you might be, and happy stitching as always. Take care.